how big my head was, because, like, seriously, that's a little weird, and I'm totally short. Okay, good morning. First of all, can I just say, wasn't Noah amazing? And you know what? She was amazing in first grade, too. She was. She totally acted when she was in my class in first grade. Okay, good morning. For those of you I don't know, my name is April Ellis, and I serve as a first grade teacher on the elementary campus. It's such a joy. Over my past 25 years, I've had the privilege of working in a variety of teaching environments, from training adults in the corporate world to teaching children on staff at a large church. And for the past 12 years, I've hung out with the best people ever in the classroom as a first grade teacher in Christian education. Now, I'm sure you all have great days, and your days are super fun, but are they filled with spontaneous church clap dance parties? Or do you get asked what your second favorite animal is? Elephant, by the way. Second favorite animal is an elephant. While I treasure all the learning and academic growth we get to do at school, in first grade what I love even more is the beautiful life lesson moments. The moments when my students choose to forgive, or be kind, or include, or flee temptation. Those are what really make my heart so happy. In addition to being a Christian school teacher, I'm also a Christian school mom. I have 2 boys who graduated from Valley. I think their picture might be coming up. I don't know if that's now or later. There they are. They're so cute, aren't they? Okay, I think so too. But they had an incredible experience. Now I wonder, are any of you planners like I am? We're gonna just put our hand up like kind of quietly because, you know, we don't want people to make fun of us. But I do a lot of planning, not only in my classroom, but also for my family. There was one point in our life when I had an old school color-coded calendar on our fridge, and I loved it. But we all know that plans only get you so far. Until a kid starts throwing up, or until you get 2 minutes from school and your son tells you that when he got in the car that morning, he forgot to put on shoes. That has happened to me more than once. If you ever need a pair of shoes, I have some in the back of my car. Through all my meticulous planning, the Lord kept showing me what he says in the passages of Psalm 37. He says, "The Lord establishes the steps of those who delight in him." Back in 2008, I was a stay-at-home mom when God started working on his established steps for my family. When my oldest was getting ready for elementary school, I was in full planning mode. I had done all the research on all the local public schools. But Christian school, not even on the radar. My husband Scott and I love Jesus, and we felt confident raising our kids in a Christ-centered home. We'd both grown up attending public school, and honestly, my own school experience was anything but typical. I was born into a very dysfunctional family, an absent father, and a mother who struggled significantly with substance abuse. From the ages of 5 to 14, I moved 9 times, and I went to 7 different schools. My extended family and friends from our church and friends from our family took me in each of those times to help ensure that I didn't have to go to foster care. They were so gracious. So when before high school, I went to my grandparents and I actually asked them if I could stay with them for all 4 years of high school, because I just wanted to feel rooted. So when Scott and I started looking at our own family and what we wanted for our kids, of course, academics was a big deal. I am a teacher after all. But them being able to go to the same school year after year after year was super important to me. We only started looking at private school primarily for smaller class sizes because my oldest was really shy. Anybody who knows him now, you would never believe it, but if you had seen him before kindergarten, he was so shy. So I really wanted him to not be in a huge class. But remember, this was 2008, which means the recession was in full swing. Paying for private school? Absolutely not in the plan. And then a friend said to me, "Have you heard about the tax credit?" I had not, but I learned. And isn't it just like God to work out his best plans, even when you don't know the path is there? I'm so very grateful. I'm so very grateful that God knew school choice would lead to lifelong Christian friendships, not just for my boys, but also for my husband Scott and I. He knew that having all these amazing Christians in our daily life would shape and strengthen us for the rest of the journey. God knew that when Mrs. Sawyers had my boys write their own psalms, she was helping them to understand praising and lamenting to a God who listens. Or when Mrs. Rhodes pointed to Jesus in history, that she was showing my history buff son God and something he loves. God knew that I would have to go back to work. While I was making plans to work at the local public school, God's plans opened a door at my kids' private Christian school. He knew that getting to share Jesus in every part of my day would enrich my life more than I could have ever imagined. God knew that worshiping with hundreds of kids at chapel would fill my soul. God knew that when Scott and I were sitting at basketball games and soccer practices and so many running events, and that even those performances like the recorder, I'm so sorry, 4th grade parents, we all had to do it. But during those times, God knew he was building friendships with people we would do life with. We would laugh with them and play with them and eat with them, but more importantly, we would cry with them and we would pray with them in the hard times. God knew. God knew that when Mr. Pitts talked about Marvel movies with my son, or that when Mr. Rugg opened his classroom, not just at lunch, but also when he ran into my son and his friends at In-N-Out, that he sat down and ate with them, God knew that they were being intentional and showing my kids the heart of Christ. God knew. I know she's here, and so I can't. It's gonna make me cry. God knew that when Jenny Brecht coached my boys for years and years and years, that she would model what it looked like to work hard and to live faithfully, not just in her words, but in her actions. God knew that getting to pray daily with my students and my kids getting to pray with their teachers would forever leave an eternal mark on our lives. God knew. And I'm so thankful that even while I was making all the plans, and I was color coding, and I was way overpacking lunches, that he was establishing the path of those who delight in him. For my classroom, for my family, and for my kids. What a blessing that is. I'm so deeply grateful that he established our path with Valley Christian. It's made more of an impact than I could have ever planned. And if you ever need a spontaneous church clap dance party, come and see us over on the elementary campus. Thank you so much.